Hey everyone, this is Hypo Al and welcome back to more Let's Play Kirby's Dreamland 3. In the last episode, we finished the first half of Iceberg, and in this episode, we'll be finishing the second half of Iceberg, starting with Nametsu stage. So the story behind this level is that Nametsu is a snail who's lost his shell, supposedly. It's also up for debate that he's actually a slug who's just masquerading as a snail by using a shell. But nonetheless, he's lost his shell and we have to go find it. So in order to do that, we're going to need a fire power-up here coming up, right here as a matter of fact. Which, there's actually plenty of opportunities to get fire power-ups here, so don't worry about losing it early on. I just like to get power-ups that I need just early on, just so I don't have to worry about them later on to the level, like so. But now I don't have to worry about it because there are actually other fire power-ups coming up here pretty soon. Like here, actually, so this room is actually just a long fall through all these galbos, and what I like to do is just fall through the middle here, just grab this one. So just be careful because they alternate sides here, and if you wake them up, then they'll start firing at you, like so. So another thing about this level is that this is one of the few levels, and the first one since Rob's stage, to use multiple animal partners. So if we go over here to this room on the left, then we need Ku for this one, which I feel like we've been using Ku a lot through this playthrough actually, but here we'll actually be needing him, so that's the reason I'm grabbing him here. So with Ku's power up here with the flame, this is what I like to call the Ku comet. It's basically just a comet, a meteor from the sky, and that's pretty much it. It's a very close quarters power up. I believe you're invincible the entire time you're using it. But the only problem here is that it just magnetizes toward the ground. So what I like to do for this area is just wait for this first iceberg, or first icicle to fall rather. Then just rush through the rest of this part. Which is it's actually a pretty good power-up for rushing as well, especially if there's just ground area, but if it's just mostly air, then I would not recommend using this one. But this is the only stage where this is really a relevant power because we'll actually be needing it. So this room is actually pretty tricky if you kind of rush too far ahead. So what I like to do is kind of stay to the inside and avoid these snowballs here. And also the one thing about this game is that they have very small invincibility frames, so just keep an eye out for that for this level. Let me see if I can actually fire through these guys. Okay, but the only problem is that if you fire too far ahead, then you'll slip into the next one. So this is probably good just to just be patient through this part, and just wait for these guys to come up and down. And just wait for it. Yeah, just be. This is actually a good moral for this level. Is just be patient. That's actually a lot of them. But another thing I want to bring up about this level is that I know I've said this about the past couple levels, but this one in particular looks a lot like ice cream. Like I remember. I don't remember. Freaking dip on the dots in the walls kind of remind me of like Dippin' Dots, which is pretty cool. I love Dippin' Dots. I haven't had them in forever, but that's another question I want to bring up. So, what is your favorite flavor of ice cream that is not in the Neapolitan family? And by that, I mean chocolate, vanilla, and strawberry. I mean, I'd probably have to say my favorite would have to be either cinnamon or peanut butter, but it's either or. I'll take both of them. There actually used to be a place near, but not too far from my house, called the Marble Slab Creamery, where they used to sell cinnamon and peanut butter and different types of flavors of ice cream, kind of like Baskin-Robbins in a way. So this is the part where we'll be needing multiple animal friends, and Pit will watch us as he just does absolutely nothing, just be irrelevant here. So we've seen this flamethrower type ability before. Well, this is what we'll be needing the balloon part of it. So if we just use Choo Choo here, and just balloon upwards, then go back, get Ku, and fly up here, and then use the Ku comet to go down here. Go down here and see Pitch again, so go back up. It's kind of like a relay in a way, just kind of relaying in between different animal friends like this. So then just use the balloon power just to go up here. And we can even keep Choo Choo for the rest of the stage actually, so I'm not even going to worry about it since we actually haven't used Choo Choo all that much. So don't worry if you use the fire power up and fall down, you can just use the balloon to get back up, but that will nest a hard start. And now that I think about it, this probably wasn't the best idea to bring Choo Choo along. So this is Yuki, which fun fact, I believe that is snow in Japanese actually. So one thing about Yuki is that he will be invincible when he throws his heads around like that. So when his head comes off, you won't be able to do damage to him. You can only do it when his head is on, so, like so. And so what I like to do is just use the burning ability. I'm just going to keep using those terms interchangeably and just blast through him while his head's still attached to his body. And just crash into him while he's doing that dash attack. And so I'll just avoid him here. And then he's down. So let's do that, and then I'm not even going to worry about Choo-Choo anymore. We can just... You know what, it probably would have been a good idea to rush through this level if I would use Choo-Choo just to cling onto the ceiling, but I guess it really doesn't matter all that much now. So we'll just keep rushing through all the caboos. These are actually pretty standard Kirby enemies from past games. I believe they first appeared in... I believe they were actually in the original Dreamland game, now that I think about it. So, oh my favorite, the bats are back here. If you watched the past couple episodes know just how well I've been doing against these bats. Just the best. And you can tell I'm very truthful in my voice right now, but anyway, this is the end of the level here. And so with that, by recovering his shell, that will give us another heart star. So what do I want here? I probably want to try for that maximum tomato. Alright, we got it. Alright, so before we move on to the next level, we have an animal friend that we need to go get, so I'll be right back. Alright, and we're back. So, you remember when I said a couple episodes ago, when, or a while back actually, where we'll be needing, some of the levels will require animal friends that aren't in the level, and we'll have to go back and go get them? Well, I've been lying to you. It turns out that this is actually the only stage that requires you to do that. This is Shiro's stage. This is the love interest of Nego, and here we have his ability with the needle. This is basically just a spike shooter, which is actually pretty useful for this level, because one thing about this level is that it is a very long, very linear level, and you'll see that coming up pretty soon. So it's pretty good that we get to use Nego here. He'll get a lot of screen time here towards the end, because he's probably the least used animal friend throughout this entire playthrough, even though I think he's probably one of the better animal friends in this game. It's just kind of a shame that he hasn't been that much of use to us throughout this entire playthrough. And so, what was I saying about this level? There was something. I forgot what I was about to say, actually. What was it? I'm gonna remember here at some point. But anyway, about the spike shooters, that you have really no control over where it goes, except that it just goes in a straight direction. What I like to do is try and get rid of these lamps here. Just get rid of the wapods, because if you kill the lamp, then the wapods in that lamp will disappear forever. And so one thing, you can just jump on top of them like several other enemies. Just rush through here. There's also plenty of stars to collect here throughout this entire level. And also there's our friend the Dark Wizard there. If you're really so inclined to get that Peppy Soda and those stars, then by all means go grab them. So we'll just pass up more of these animal friends. Here's one part that requires actually a bit of patience here. Just wait through these thwomp enemies. Some of them here, like that fourth one to the very right, will just drop out of sync with those previous three. So it's not a good idea to rush through this level, but it is a good idea to shoot those star blocks. So if we just... Okay, we'll just go underneath them then. So let's go underneath here. And just wait. And that's it for this room. Actually, cool. Yeah, so like I said, this level is quite a bit long, but it really doesn't need to be. I think they just kind of... It almost feels like they kind of ran out of ideas here towards the end. It feels like this is probably like the last Animal Friend stage that they made, provided they go in order, where... Like, you remember how way back in Cloudy Park, how the level was designed specifically for Rick? Kind of forgot which one that was for a minute. Well, it kind of makes sense since Rick is a very unique animal friend, and his ability involves jumping over walls, and they made the level very vertical. Where this one, I feel like with this one, they could have made something like have some of the rooms be, or have some of the platforms be on high ground, because Nego can do a triple jump, but the thing is, even with that triple jump, there's plenty of other animal friends that can fly, like Koo, Rick, Pitch, even Choo Choo to a certain extent if you use the flame ability. And it doesn't feel like it just feels like they just threw this one out, you know? It just feels like they just didn't even bother. They just decided, let's just put a linear level towards the very end of the game, which, that's another thing. A lot of these levels towards the end of the game are not very difficult for being last parts of the game, even though that's just standard tradition of them being just very difficult. In just any game, just having very difficult levels towards the end of the game is just it's very traditional. So Terrans, you can go either up or down, doesn't matter. I'll just jump on top of those. Let's go through here and just keep on running towards past the fake Kirby. I believe it's a Batamon. I believe that's the official name of it. So that's one thing about this level. They will throw every last animal friend at you except for Nego here, which is interesting. So here are the kind of fire. I don't even know what to call these. They're like fire bars, but they also have like the sprites of the cannonballs from this game. I mean, they're like the fire bars from the Mario series. So you can't really kill these fake blobs. You have to get really close to them, and I kind of regret not getting any of those Peppy Sodas way back when. Because if I die here, then that's pretty much it. I believe, don't quote me on this, but I believe this is actually pretty close to the last room, actually. I was about to say this is the last room, but it's not, actually. I don't remember if these are fake. Okay, so they are real. So we'll just keep getting very close to them. I'm going to take this very slow, because if I die here, then I'm going to have to replay this one. Okay, so not so close to the bounties that they'll get you. The birds are the ones that I'm kind of worried about. Okay, so he's gone. We'll keep on moving. I don't remember if there's any more health items here in a little bit. So let's get rid of the cat bars here. I think one good thing about this spike power-up is that they'll get rid of any projectiles that jump up in front of you. Like his cutter right there. So I'm just gonna keep doing this and just wait for him to jump into the spike field here. Do that. Let's keep on going. Okay, so there is some health here, but there's also some more enemies as well behind the wall, so be very careful about that. And they are so generous with the Peppy Soda here, because I could have easily just died right there. So, and there's even more Peppy Soda as well to get. 2 of them, in fact. So just wait for the Mumbies to get out the way. Oh wait, you know, I can just hit them from underneath. I'm going to take advantage of these 2 Peppy Sodas while I still have them. There we go. Feels great. Alright, okay, yeah. I'm actually, you know, I'm 100% sure that this is actually the last room here. Because I distinctly remember this part. Let's fire through here. And fire straight up. And that's it. I just love how she's so happy when we bring Nego to her. So with that, that's our heart star. And like I said, I really do like the background of this goal game here. So we will jump for the max tomato right about there. No, but we'll take a Peppy Soda. It's almost as if we've only taken 1 hit. So now on to the final regular level of the game. This is Angel's Stage, and this is actually a pretty simple... Actually a very simple heart star to get. So this is pretty much like your standard Kirby boss gauntlet. So all the mini bosses that you fought throughout this entire game will be in this level. And so with that, you'll have to get their power up, and then after each of their rooms there'll be a different there'll be blocks in order to get that you'll have to use the power-ups. There'll be power-up blocks that you need to use, and you have to collect all the feathers. Now for this stage, I like to stay towards the left, and I'm just going to pass up using animal friends here for this stage, even though that may come back to bite me. I don't know if it will. So I just say I won't use animal friends because it kind of just, you'll see, because they tend to get in the way. So if you notice, there are only 5 mini bosses in the entire game, but only 8 power-ups. So some of these will involve enemies, and some of these won't. Like they'll be they won't. Some of these will involve mini bosses, and some of these will involve enemies. That's why I don't know why that was so hard to say. So first up is the Spark ability. Just grab that, and also in each one of these rooms here where you have to get feathers, there will also be a Peppy Soda to get. So here is the only mini boss that we haven't seen yet. This is Blocky. Obviously, he's the rock enemy. So if we just stay here, actually, we won't be entirely invincible. Just do that, eat Blocky, get the stone power up, run through the door. So one thing I will say that's pretty interesting about this stage is that this song. I'll just be quiet so you can listen to it for a little bit. So one thing I have to say about this song is that I've always imagined sort of a rift with this song. So on one side of the rift is just Kirby, his entire adventures up to this point, like all the fun when he's had with his friends, even before the dark matter came to Pop Star, all that. And on the other side of the rift is just the impending doom. It's just like Kirby's responsibility is just to take care of his planet and just repel the dark matter from whence it came. It's almost like, in a way, I've always felt like Kirby, like the Kirby games in general, were always sort of a metaphor for like growing up and taking on responsibility. Like, yeah, there's this cutesy, happy exterior, but there's always sort of this kind of like morbid kind of like just kind of the impending reality that we all have to grow up at some point. But yeah, I mean, I know it's kind of dark, but you gotta admit there's definitely some evidence to that there. So Jumper Shoot, let's just wait on him. So hopefully he'll. I do have to say that Jumper Shoot, along with Yuki, probably have to be some of the better mini bosses, because, in all honesty, they very well could just use, like with Jumper Shoot, he very well could have just used his kind of like top ability and just kind of kept us in here forever. Because I mean, I don't have a power up on me. I mean, what could I do? I mean, he could just use that and just kept us in here forever, while dark matter could have just taken over the planet and all. So we'll just use. I won't even bother using the parasol ability here, because it's actually like with Yuki, he just throws his heads around and also does this attack, which gives us plenty of ammo. Unlike Jumper Shoot, who just decides he only has 2 attacks, where just use the umbrella top attack and just throw his sandals at us. But this one, with Yuki, is actually pretty easy. So let's take a Yuki, use the ice ability that we barely ever use. Go down here. Probably going to take this Peppy Sword just so we have full health, and just get another feather. And with that, I don't remember who's next. Okay, so it's just Sir Kibbles in here. So I will gladly take this cutter ability. I think that's one thing. Unlike Kirby 64, that's one thing I've noticed about this game, is that I don't know if I can definitively say if I can have a favorite ability in this game, because if I had to pick one, it would have to be something with Cutter, but I don't even know which one it would be. I feel like it would be just something with just Kirby, because with some of the animal friends, if I had to pick one, I guess it would just have to be Ku's ability with the feather. I mean, with the Cutter ability, his feather attack, that's actually pretty useful. Also, just using Ku is just a lot easier than using some of the other animal friends, to be honest with you. So Boki should be pretty easy. Just wait for her to jump here. Oh, that'll help a lot. Using those 2 stars there. And then that. And that's it. So let's take the broom ability and go through the door. See, I think we still have the the flame ability to go. Trying to think of what other power-ups. We used the flame. Spark, no, Spark was the very first one. What am I talking about? So, Bobu here. Gonna use the broom. Hey, well, the broom actually came to some use here. Bobu's pretty easy. And I wasted that opportunity, so let's wait for here. And we're going to get it? Oh, wait, we got it. Just there. Hit there. Get that. Wonderful commentary, by the way. Okay, but no, seriously, let's just get the... He's almost done here, so just wait there. And this should be it here. Alright, so let's take our flame ability, go through the door. I believe that's... Oh, you know what? We still have Needle to go. That's the only power that we haven't used yet. So I believe that is going to be through this door. Oh yeah, Captain Stitch. I forgot all about him. Yeah, so this should be pretty easy, actually. Just have him rush through here. I think that's one thing I do like about some more of these mini-bosses is that, with the exception of, like, Jumper Shoot, is that the mini-bosses don't waste time in giving us what they're weak against. So let's take the spikes here. They almost look like crystals now that I think about it. Yeah, so Captain Stitch is pretty simple here, so let's wait on him. And he's coming at us. Although one thing I do kind of dislike about some of the mini-bosses is that there's like no way to get any type of... Actually, this is with all bosses, now that I think about it. Mini or just regular bosses, there's no way to get another power-up off of them in the midst of battle. You have to wait until after the battle's over in order to get that, because I know there's some mini-bosses out there in other Kirby games that let you get whatever power-up that they are along with them. Like for example, well, this is kind of an example, but like with Kracko in Kirby's Adventure, how he dropped the high jump enemies onto us, and we could use high jump in order to defeat them. Now, that's not necessarily the most effective way to beat him, but it is a way to beat him, though. I could have sworn I could have had him. Okay, let's get him that. Wow, I'm doing just dreadful at this boss fight. Come on. Could use another... There we go. I don't know why that was so hard. So let's take Captain Stitch and his needle ability. And so then, yeah, there's the last door. Let's get a Peppy Soda. And that's the last feather. And so with that, that is the final Heart Star of the game. So I believe I want to get a maximum tomato. The stars work too. Alright, so I'm gonna do something different here. So I know in every other episode that I've done, I fought the boss at the end, but I think I'm gonna save the boss for next episode, and I have a good reason why. So that's going to do it for this episode. I'd like to thank you all for watching. This has been HypoWallow, and until next time, I'll see y'all later.